Today I'm building this stereo cabinet thing. It's made of one sheet of open-air plywood as an entry in the Modern Maker podcast's Rockler Plywood Challenge. I might have cheated a little bit and also used a sheet of MDF for the removable speaker enclosure, but let's just not tell anyone that. To start, I cut the sheet into 4 long sections approximately 12 inches wide using the circular saw and straight cut guide. Next, I cut the pieces to length, beveling the ends so they'll form the triangular body when assembled. With all those pieces ready, I started the assembly. This is a bit tricky to keep aligned because my workspace is rather small and this piece is definitely not, but I was able to find a way to make it work. And for some reason that made sense at the time, I didn't add the top of the cabinet until much later. I can't remember why, but I'm sure it made sense. In the meantime, I added this shelf and edge banded the main body. The next step in my apparent quest to avoid putting the top on this thing was to lay the legs out and get them cut out. I attempted to use a tapering jig on the table saw, but that was cumbersome, so I found it easier to use a circular saw and the guide, like I am here. Now, this method didn't give the most consistent results, so I had to spend some time with nearly all of my sanders getting everything nice and flush, but they came out really well. With all of those pieces ready, I cut a stretcher to go between the front and back legs for each side. I put in pocket holes, and then I put those together. When those were done, I added edge banding, cleaned that up, and then gave the whole assemblies a good sanding before attaching them to the body. With these on, I just couldn't avoid the top any longer. I cut it to length and glued on some oak strips that I had cut out. I chose this for the top because the angle of it meant that there was no room for error with the iron-on stuff, and, well, I like room for my errors. I got that attached, and I could move on. The speaker box is a bisected, inverted isosceles trapezoid, which I guess it just means that it fits in the hole left for it. The construction of it was really quick and dirty because it's neither cosmetic or structural, it's just necessary. I haven't done a lot of work with MDF in the past, but I know it soaks up glue, so I used plenty of that. I pocket holed the things together and used brad nails to make sure the pocket holes were aligned correctly. I wanted to make sure the back of this box helped stabilize the main cabinet, so I traced the opening to get the best fit possible. It worked really well. It worked so well that I had to install it separately from the rest of the box, which is no problem. I also used this method to cut the fronts for the speaker box as well. I used a router with a simple circle jig to cut the 2 large speaker holes in each side, and a hole saw for the small ones, as well as the base port and the terminal hole in the back. So I wanted these fronts to be removable in case I wanted to swap speakers, so I drilled pocket holes for a solid but non-permanent installation solution. And now with those attached and ready, it was time to harvest the speakers from the old towers. And then to install them, I just marked holes pre-drilled and then screwed them in. And with those done, it was time for... I chose to go with a wiping stain because of the more even color I got with my sample boards. The color I chose is Natural Chestnut. Ooh. Now this whole thing proved to be a showcase of my lack of skill more than anything, but the end result wasn't terrible. Alright, with that finish on, we just have a couple details to wrap up. First, I made a frame to fit the front of the cabinet and then wrapped it in speaker cloth. And the final step was to put in some adjustable feet so that the weight wouldn't be solely on the legs because, well, I have my doubts about them. And now it's done. Well, thanks for watching. If you like this project, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you'll see my future videos. Also, if you want more regular build updates, find me on Instagram. I post quite often there. Thanks again. Bye.